Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to yet another video here on the DTF Sports Media YouTube channel. If you're returning, thank you for coming back. If this is your first time, welcome in. Go ahead and smash that subscribe button to get things off the bat. But today, your boy Hollywood Cohen here, and I just want to do a quick NXT recap and review. So tonight's episode of NXT falls on July 4th, so we had a pretty stacked show for the holiday. Kicking things off was a hard-hitting matchup between Blair Davenport and Roxanne Perez, and this match was really good. I really enjoyed this match. I've enjoyed Blair Davenport's work her whole career that I've been watching her these past several years, as Bea Priestley on the indies. I've also enjoyed Roxanne Perez when she was going by Roxy on the indies. So these two women got in here and they worked, man, and it was a great hard-hitting match, lots of good stiff shots. Highly recommend you go and check this match out. And your winner at the end of the night was Blair Davenport, all clean as well. So Blair Davenport has recently been revealed as the secret attacker to many of the currently injured and on the shelf NXT women superstars. And so, now she's made her identity known a few weeks ago. We now are getting a very great booking of Blair Davenport going hard. And, for Roxanne Perez being a former NXT Women's Champion, this is a big win for Blair. So, love to see it. Love to see it. After this match, we had a backstage segment with Ivy Nile getting interviewed when Tiffany Stratton walked up. And, the interviewer, Mackenzie Mitchell, she was asking Ivy about how she feels about the Creed brothers in the Loser Leaves Town match against the Dyad later on that night. And just as Ivy was getting ready to answer, Tiffany Stratton walked in. She pretty much brushed off Ivy Nile, talking about how everybody should be talking about Tiffany and how she defended her title for the first time last week successfully. And, Ivy Nile talked a little smack back to her, calling her out for tapping out to Thea. Thea last week in their title match, Thea Hill. And after Ivy Nile called her out, she said, if it had been her, the whole world would have seen her tapping, because, last week during the match, the referee was being distracted when Thea Hill was tapping out Tiffany Stratton. So Ivy Nile walks off, and Tiffany asks if the Creed brothers lose, does Ivy Nile leave too? Which Mackenzie told her that she does not. After this match, we had a good Baron Corbin vignette, and where he was talking about his going through his evolution, going through his old gimmicks, and throwing his old gear from those eras of his gimmicks into incinerator. And he ended it by saying that no more gimmicks, no more bullshit. He lost to Carmelo Hayes, but he needs to have that strike fear in people's hearts again in NXT. So we're getting a character change for Baron Corbin, and I'm all here for it, man. This was a good vignette. Baron Corbin, I have not enjoyed what they've given him with the Happy Corbin. I felt like he can do some really good work when he's given the right character to play, but he's, to his credit, he's made what he's been given work. So here's to hoping that he gets some good stuff and Shawn Michaels lets him shine down there in NXT. But after this vignette, we had Mustafa Ali versus Tyler Bate, and yet another great match. Hard-hitting action, back and forth, great high-flying spots, stiff strikes. It's everything you would want in a match. Great technical back and forth catch-can wrestling. Again, I highly recommend going and checking this match out, because it was really good, especially considering it's a TV match, right? Not even at a pay-per-view. But great match. Ended with Mustafa Ali sitting on the top turnbuckle with Tyler Bate balancing on the top rope. Mustafa Ali knocks his legs off from under him, crotches him on the top rope, which he falls down to the ring, and then Mustafa Ali hits the 450 splash for the win. And you can hear right before the 450 splash, Ali smiling, shrugging his shoulders, saying, "Hey man, there can only be one." And as he's walking back up the ramp, the camera closes in tight on his face, and he calls out Wes Lee for a match for the North American Championship at the Great American Bash, which is going to be later on this month, I believe July 30th. So that's going to be a great match right there between Wes Lee and Mustafa Ali. Cannot wait for that. I wouldn't be surprised if Mustafa Ali gets the North American Championship here, and I kind of hope he does. I mean, I love Wes Lee. I love what he's been doing with the title, but I want to see Mustafa Ali get some gold, man, because he deserves it. After this, we had a backstage interview with Ava Raine and Joe Gacy talking about the Loser Leaves Town match involving the Dyad and the Creed brothers. And Mackenzie, she was, asking why did Joe Gacy force the Dyad into this match, and Joe Gacy and Ava pretty much put over like, they're not forcing anybody into anything they aren't ready for, and tonight the right team will be leaving NXT. After this backstage segment, we had Kaylani Jordan versus Tatum Paxley. This was Kaylani Jordan's in-ring debut here on NXT. She was accompanied by Dana Brooke, and it was a good, quick match. Displayed a lot of the gymnastic ability of Kaylani Jordan. Kaylani is a gymnastics standout from Michigan State, I believe they said. Forgive me for not knowing exactly. I did take notes during this episode because I just really wanted to enjoy the episode. But anyway, yeah, she looked great. My only gripe is I hate that Tatum Paxley is being used to put the new people over in their first match. Tatum Paxley, she did some great stuff with the Creed brothers and Ivy Nile and Diamond Mine while she was there. And I really want to see them doing something with Tatum Paxley. Tatum Paxley jobbed out for Danny Palmer back in May. And Danny Palmer's, a first official debut match, and now she's doing it again. So I really hope she's able to break out of this role because she can wrestle. She has a great look. I love Tatum Paxley. Need to push Tatum Paxley. But yeah, your winner was Kaylani Jordan. It's much to my surprise. I honestly thought Tatum Paxley was going to win here. But as her and Dana Brooke are celebrating, out comes Cora Jade to cut a quick little promo, congratulating Kaylani, saying like, oh, you must be doing something right to have a veteran like Dana Brooke in your corner. And then she goes on to clarify that a friend of Dana Brooke's is an enemy of hers because Cora and Dana are feuding right now. And Kaylani, shuts her up because Cora starts running down on the crowd, doing her Resident Mean Girl promo, which is great. I love Cora Jade. And Kaylani challenges Cora Jade to a match right then, right there. She says she has one more match left in her. And Cora Jade says, no one tells me what to do. Pretty much I'll face you when I want to face you. And so she walks away. And so we're laying the groundwork to further this feud right here with Dana Brooke. And I guess we're getting Kaylani Jordan pulled in as well. The next segment we had here was a vignette for Chase U. Andre Chase is back. He came out to make the save for Thea Hell and Duke Hudson last week. Last week. And this is a good little vignette, pretty much just setting up a match for next week with Drew Gulak and Charlie Dempsey. I love these Chase U segments. Chase U is so over. Thea Hell is super excited to see Andre Chase back. Glad Andre Chase is back. Really hope to see Andre and Duke get a tag team title run in NXT before Duke inevitably turns on Andre Chase, which that's small coming. Next up, we had NXT Underground, and I really would, and just clarification, some of these stills that I have here obviously are not from tonight. I really wish I could have grabbed some stills from NXT Underground, though, because this was actually the best Underground segment, in my opinion. I really like the concept and idea of Raw Underground, but they did it really good here with the presentation of NXT. They had the Performance Center trainees around ringside, taking the ropes off the ring. They darkened the arena. Just a few spotlights on the ring. And this was some really great hard-hitting action. Eddie Thorpe, he's really good. Damon Kemp, he's really good. Gable Steveson was in Eddie Thorpe's corner, which is Damon Kemp's brother in real life. And just some sick spots here, man. Great wrestling, great striking. Damon Kemp hit a nasty belly-to-belly over-the-head suplex to Eddie Thorpe, throwing him outside of the ring. So that was a crazy bump right there. I know that had to have hurt. But in the end, we had Eddie Thorpe get the win by TKO. And referee stoppage TKO. And Gable Steveson and Eddie Thorpe celebrated in the ring, and then some of the Performance Center trainees started getting in the ring to try to take a shot at Gable Steveson, which Gable Steveson showed off some very beautiful German suplexes, such high arcs, and some belly-to-belly over-the-head suplexes. This big guy right here, don't know his name, he's a trainee though, he also ate an over-the-head belly-to-belly suplex. So Gable Steveson, definitely real deal, Olympic gold medalist. And he's going to be a hot act down here in NXT. I'm assuming we're probably going to eventually get an Eddie Thorpe or Damon Kemp, Gable Steveson match, brother versus brother, although they're not being acknowledged as brothers on camera. I'm assuming we're probably eventually going to get a Eddie Thorpe versus Gable Steveson match as well somewhere down the line. But yeah, great segment right here, great match, great fight as they're pitting it over. After this, we had a good backstage vignette with Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams, where they called out the Judgment Day pretty much, saying, when Rhea came down to pit them on notice, she was talking, but she wasn't saying anything, and that they welcomed the Judgment Day to come in there and try their luck against Trick Mello Gang. And I can't wait for that, man. Judgment Day on every brand, please. I need more Judgment Day in my life. After this, we had Lyra Valkyria versus JC Jane. This is another great match. Love both these ladies. JC worked so great as a heel, and Lyra is just such a great natural babyface that you want to cheer for. In the end, Lyra ends up getting the win, and JC immediately attacks her after the match, disrespects her by tearing up her entrance jacket with the feathers, and so this feud is definitely not over. And I also forgot to add a slide in here. My apologies. Right before this match, we had a vignette with Tony D'Angelo and Stax, talking about their ongoing rivalry with Gallus. Stax, tells D'Angelo that he's made a deal, and out comes Joe Gacy, and not Joe Gacy, excuse me, Joe Coffey. And next week we find out it's going to be Stax versus Joe. If Stax wins, then the charges against Tony D'Angelo are dropped. But if Joe wins, then Tony D'Angelo is going to have to face trial. He's going to stay in jail until his trial. And from what they hear, he's likely going to be found guilty. But yeah, moving ahead, we then had a little backstage segment with Noam Dar and the Metaphor, where he was, talking about to a picture of the NXT. God bless. What is it called? The NXT. He misses love of his life for the Heritage Cup. Excuse me. Sorry. The Heritage Cup. Talking about how he misses the love of his life, how his life isn't complete, and he needs the Heritage Cup trophy back in his life. The Metaphor comes in, and they talk about how, man, we got to do something about this because Noam is not doing good. After this, we also got another vignette featuring Kiana James, where she is on the phone talking about how, pretty much mocking and laughing about what she did to Gigi Dolan the week prior, dousing her in paint. And then she notices that there's a wet paint sign on her office door, and she goes inside to find her office destroyed with a note left from Gigi Dolan saying that you can't outrun your past. And with, big orange paint spelling out the word phony on the wall. So I guess we're going to get some more character depth with Kiana James, with Gigi Dolan revealing who Kiana James used to be before she was this, businesswoman, clean cut, lots of money. So I really like this feud. Kiana James says she's taking the gloves off now after Gigi disrespected her by destroying her office. So, can't wait to see what happens next week between those two. We'll love to see Gigi on camera this week, though, because I'm a huge Gigi Dolan fan. After this, we had a ringside beatdown with Von Wagner beating up Javier Bernal. Apparently, Bernal, during the commercial break, was running his mouth about Von Wagner, and Von Wagner started beating him up. Von Wagner is near 7 feet tall, if not 7 feet tall. Robert Stone came out trying to stop Von Wagner from, pinning Javier through a table, which he successfully did at first. Then Von Wagner picked him up in the military press, was getting ready to throw him into the crowd. Robert Stone stopped him again. Then the crowd started chanting, table, 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 to which Von Wagner, eyes perked up. He started ripping apart the announce table, ends up powerbombing Javier Bernal through the table, much to the crowd's delight. And Von Wagner looking like, yeah, you like me? You like me? So I really like what they did right here. It seems like, Robert Stone is trying to get Von Wagner to open up and to not be such a savage. And Von Wagner seems to be feeding on the acceptance and adoration of the crowd. So this is a cool dynamic here to see. Can't wait to see where they go here next. I miss Robert Stone as Robbie E. back when he was in TNA and Impact Wrestling. Wish that he could wrestle here. I'm not really sure why he's not wrestling, if it's by choice or he's had an injury or he retired from the ring. But anyway, Robert Stone's a great guy, great character, great on the microphone. So he is definitely a great manager. We then got another vignette introducing the new tag team coming next week of Lucian Price and Bronco Nima. Lucian on your left, Bronco on your right. I got kind of Crime Time with Chad Gaspard and JTG vibes here. They're D1 collegiate athletes, but they put over how they have the street smarts. They came from the streets and whatnot. Felt very authentic. Looking forward to see what they can do. It was a good introductory vignette, and we'll see them next week. Then after this, we had the main event match of the night with the Creed brothers versus the Dyad and the loser leaving NXT. This was a really good match. It went on through 2 commercial breaks. They got a lot of time to work. And, of course, Joe Gacy and Ava accompanied the Dyad. Avinal accompanied the Creed brothers. And before the first commercial break, Joe Gacy saved the Dyad from losing because the Creed brothers came out guns blazing. And that got him thrown out of the match. So that left Ava at ringside. Later on in the match, Ava tries to get involved, but Avinal neutralizes her. And you really think the Creed brothers are going to win. But surprisingly, the Dyad won here. And the Creed brothers now leave NXT. So I assume that we're going to see them pop up on Raw or SmackDown here very soon. After this, they started talking about some matches for next week's NXT, and Avinal versus Tiffany Stratton is one of the matches, so Avinal staying behind. So I guess for now, this is the end of Diamond Mine, which I hate to see it. But I think the Creed brothers, they already had a nice little tag team title runs here in NXT, and they're ready for the main roster. They're already great wrestlers. They really don't have anything else they can do unless they were to get back on the belts again. Avinal, she still, hasn't held gold in NXT. And, she's a great wrestler as well. Went to the same wrestling school that I went to with Dr. Tom and Kane up in the JPWA in Knoxville, Tennessee. So, same thing for Stax. So I love seeing some of my fellow alumni doing well, thriving in the biggest promotions on the planet. But yeah, so we have to say goodbye to the Creed brothers. I really hope they don't spend too much time away from television. I hope they pop up on Raw or SmackDown very soon. Maybe even, it'll probably be after SummerSlam, but I would love to see it happen before SummerSlam. And then, to end the night, we had Braun Breaker come out and talk about how, Seth Rollins, he proved why he's great, and how in only 78 matches, Braun Breaker almost became the WWE World Heavyweight Champion 2 weeks ago when he faced Seth Rollins at the first night of NXT Gold Rush. And you put over how Seth Rollins has had more premium live event matches than Braun Breaker has had matches, period. And how Braun didn't have the luxury of, traveling around high school gyms, wrestling in front of 30 people to learn this, that he's been doing it in front of the world from the start. And he puts over his own greatness pretty much, and to my surprise, gets interrupted by Ilya Dragunov. Because, Braun Breaker pretty much was saying, like, what's next? About to say what's next for him, and Ilya Dragunov says that he is next for Braun Breaker. Ilya Dragunov, talks about how he's not going to attack him from behind like a coward. He's face-to-face in Braun's face like a real man, and that the only thing standing between Ilya and the NXT Championship is Braun Breaker. And then Ilya attacks Braun out of nowhere. We get a great brawl to finish off the episode, and referee, security, and some of the wrestlers from backstage come out trying to break up the two from brawling. And so here's our next feud right here, guys. Would imagine that they're probably going to have their match in a couple of weeks, and the winner is going to face Carmelo Hayes at the Great American Bash. Or maybe not. Maybe we're going to have these two face each other at the Great American Bash to determine the number one contender, and it'll be Finn Balor versus Carmelo Hayes at the Great American Bash. Because, again, I forgot to add a slide. Right before this final segment, we had Finn Balor in a backstage vignette pretty much scoffing at Carmelo and Trick for not taking the Judgment Day seriously. And so he was like, all right, you're not taking that seriously? Well, next Tuesday, I'll see you guys. How's that for subliminal? So we're going to have Finn Balor coming back to NXT for at least one night only. Or for at least one night. Probably not one night only, because I'm assuming these two are going to have a match. But yeah, I tried to run through this really quick. Try not to get too much into my thoughts of the show. Just want to make a quick recap and results video for you guys. And yeah, smash that like button if you enjoyed the video. If you let me know in the comments below what you thought of this episode of NXT, and also if you found these recap videos helpful. I know a lot of us have a lot going on in our lives, so we can't necessarily sit down and watch every piece of wrestling as we wish. So just want to put this content out for you guys. I'm hoping I can get with D2 sometime this week so we can go in depth a little bit more about this NXT episode and some of the acts that we're seeing in NXT. But I really enjoyed this episode. This was a really great episode. To me, NXT is my favorite show that WWE puts out. Honestly, I think it's the best wrestling show on TV, AEW or WWE. Impact does great things too as well. But NXT is my favorite of all the brands out here that we have to watch. But yeah, hit that like button if you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought about this episode of NXT, and smash that subscribe button. Join the DTF family. We're putting out tons of content, trying to put out content daily. Need to start putting out some fantasy football content now that that's around the corner very soon. Trying to get on top of it. It's just me doing all the editing here, and so yeah, it's a lot for one person. But anyway, I'll see you guys tomorrow with another video, and until then, I am out of here.